final, and then it's game on. And we saw great racing in yesterday's final in the women's K1 and men's K1. So expect more of the same today. Thank you to our judges, timekeepers and other officials out there in the field of play and in the results centre, video judges and scorekeepers. Lots of work to do on a day like today, and great to be here at the Oceania Championships, the 2024 edition. We give out prizes for the under-18s, under-23s and the open category from wherever they come, and also to the best Oceania performer. And yesterday that was Timothy Anderson in the men's kayak for Australia and Jess Fox in the women's canoe. So double podium yesterday for the Fox sisters, with Jess in first and Noemi in third, and Claudia Svolinska in between. She'll be coming up soon in the C1, but let's watch bib number 15, Sarah Crosby, get into action and safely through the upstream at gate 1. Crosby attacking the top of the course and having to go back around for gate 3, losing some time there, and now trying to settle into the rhythm. There's still a long way to go on this run. That's the main wave surf, and she glides beautifully through gate 7, deep into the eddy, and then across, getting a clean wave. And that's a good strategy. Boat speed is up, smooth lines, keeping the boat dry and getting the gates. It's the long open section between gate 8 and gate 10. And over goes Crosby and up she comes. And the question will be, can she make it back around? It is a long way to Whitewater course. Takes a nice wide line, and that works well for her into gate 15. Skirting the stopper, staying out of trouble. But we'll go up now to the top of the course, and we'll pick up Sophie Gilfillan from Canada, as she ducks through gate 8, and Gilfillan going well so far. No penalties for the Canadian. But a spot of bother at that same section where Sarah Crosby got into difficulty, and that is the upstream, getting into the upstream at gate 11. So Crosby the first to finish, and it is a 2:48.26, so a 50-second penalty for Sarah Crosby, unfortunately on gate 20. But that is the score on the board for now, as Sophie Gilfillan of Canada, racing in the under-23 category. She's got an ICF ranking of 93. So on her way up in the international field, fighting her way into the eddy at 15. And getting her run back on track. No major penalties so far. Still one touch from gate 8. No more significant errors other than the time loss at gate 11 and a little bit there at 17. But Gilfillan now coming through Hell's Gate, as we're going to call it, and trying to get ahead into gate 20. And she doesn't go back for more there. And so far, just a 2-second penalty awarded to the Canadian. You've got to get your head through the gate and part of the boat. And she's got an upstream and a downstream to go. She can do that as she'll move into the lead. So on course, we have Japan coming through into the bottom section, and that is Haruka Okazaki in the open category. ICF ranked number 70. So Gilfillan, 2:48.26. That's the second score on the board. And no, 2:02.62, corrected. 2:02.62 for Gilfillan. And the next boat to finish will be Okazaki. And Okazaki, wearing number 13, is going to move comfortably ahead. No 50s for her. Just 8 seconds of penalties. 1:51.55 for Okazaki of Japan. And we'll pick up Aaliyah Balon. Bib 22 in the red colours of Canada. Aaliyah Balon, under 23 athlete. No ICF, no international ranking at this stage, though relatively new in the canoe. She competed in the kayak event and switches to the right side to feel safe on the back, and good balance, good skill. Keeping the boat flat is a critical ingredient for good paddling. So Balon through to the final section as bib number 16 for Australia, Cody Davidson at the top of the course. And we might follow her through the main wave section. Junior team member in 2023, competing in Krakow, Poland at the under-23 and Junior World Championship. A nice switch to the right side so she can surf the wave and get her body through 8, spins the boat around, picks up the flow. No major mishaps there. Balon, meanwhile, crossing the finish, and she'll move into the lead with a 1:44.56. So Balon of Canada, 1:46.56, corrected with the penalty added. So that is the score on the board to beat at this point in time. And Cody Davidson still going well through the middle section. Bouncing across the little stopper and using her skill and experience of the years of paddling, even at the young age, finding the line across the back of the stopper, staying out of trouble and keeping the boat moving. Working it as hard as she can across to 17. And then circling back around to make sure she gets the line across to 18 and 19. So Cody Davidson, gate by gate, setting up now for gate 20. Widens her angle and pushes in and just gets inside, clips on the way through, but that's a good move from Cody Davidson, and a strong cross and into the upstream at 21. Bib 16 from the Western Sydney Whitewater Club, chasing down the 1:46.56. She's going to be outside of that, and another penalty, but a good run from the junior from Western Sydney. And through to the finish, strong finish from Cody Davidson, 1:59.59 into third position behind Balon of Canada and Okazaki of Japan. On course at these Oceania Championships, representing the Cook Islands, Jane Nicholas. Some early touches showing on the penalty board, but no major damage for Jane Nicholas. Squeezing out of 15. And on her way back and around 17 and to the finish. Still a few maneuvers to make before the finish line beckons. And this one of them, a critical one. A bit like Cody Davidson earlier, just getting inside 20 and then setting herself up for the cross. So outside the time of Aaliyah Balon, and so we'll move up the course and pick up Adah Macky as she gets back upright and squeezes into the eddy at 11. So Adah Macky, another local, has learned her paddling skills here at Penrith Whitewater, getting stronger and more confident on the course. A nice line there between 12 and 13. And she's had a bit of a struggle, 7 and 8, and then 11 and 12, but that's her first penalty on gate 14. So a tidy effort from Adah Macky. And now she's just got to find her way through, get a grip of the paddle, and she does that just in time to get back upright again. So a little bit of struggle street for Adah Macky, and she's shaking her head a little bit as she comes into gate 20. Just keeps coming at you, this course. And she needs to go back up to make that gate and into the safety of another eddy. One more eddy to go for Adah Macky, and it's gate 23. And she's away through to the finish. But unfortunately, the top half through to gate 13 clean, and then the trouble started from 14 to the finish. But great effort from the local Adah Macky, 3:15.72. Aaliyah Balon of Canada leads, still untouched at 1:46.56, but a long way to go in this field of women's canoe paddlers. Emily Hogbin on course, bib 19. Moved recently to Penrith in the last year. And an accomplished whitewater paddler, and now learning slalom skills. Boats are pointier, a little more technical. It needs precision, and Burley Griffin Canoe Club is her home, original home. As number 19, Emily Hogbin circles around and sets up for the final section. Further up the course, bib number 20, Clara Plata from Colombia. Wonder if we've got any viewers in Colombia. My colleague here, Paul Camillus, will run a check on that. Trying to build our fan base in South America, and this might be one way. Clara Plata setting up for the jump, 10 to 11, and that's a good line. Into the eddy and out. So a couple of touches, that's all for Laura at this point. Emily Hogbin has finished 2:14.89. That's the 6th position at this stage. So Balon Canada still leading. Let's see what Clara Plata can manage, and she's got to get in the eddy first to keep this run alive. And pushing up off the bottom, it's the roll coming for Laura. Get up, stay in the eddy, and let's go. Vamos, up through 15. And then needs the drive across. This is proving to be a tricky move, 16 to 17. You've got to get some momentum up, drive the boat across, get your body through 17 as best you can, and then get back on track to set up for this bottom section. Pulls around forwards. She's a little late running into 19 and is going to come around behind 20 and back up, which isn't necessarily a bad strategy for the cross into upstream gate 21. So no red flags at this stage for Laura Plata and just 2 gates to go. Outside the time of the leaders, but holding the form and just having to skirt back around for the last gate. Next boat on course, Georgia Rankin, number 23. Seasoned canoe and kayak paddler, and very active in the community for the Western Sydney Whitewater Club, putting new people on water, organising and coaching. So Georgia Rankin from Blaxland in the Lower Blue Mountains, originating from Swan Canoe Club. And she says she's doing secret training, so secret she doesn't know about it. But a former national team member, the junior under 23 level, medalist in 2015 at the under 23 World Championships in Brazil. And here she comes, bib number 23, Georgia Rankin. And she gets through gate 20 without a mishap, leans on the paddle and stays upright for the cross. So holding her line and keeping a pretty good score sheet, just single blemish, and that's at the top of the course from gate 2. So clean lines since then, and a clean last gate for Georgia Rankin. 156 is outside the lead, but she might squeeze into the top 3. No, 161.61 in 4th place for Georgia Rankin. And now Clara Clemens on course for Australia. Wearing bib 18, drops into the hole, the stopper, and surfs that nicely. These Tasmanian athletes, very comfortable on the white water, lots of time paddling at Brady's Lake. She's from the Derwent Canoe Club, 17 years of age. Comes over to Penrith and trains with Cody Davidson. And here she comes down to gate 20, pushes through cleanly, and a good spin behind the gate. That's the best line we've seen so far from Clara Clemens. Just picks up a hit on 21, but she won't be too worried about that if she can fight her way out of 22 and across to 23. This will be a good run on the board. Just holding on, holding on, holding on, tucks inside every inch of energy. And through to the finish, Clara Clemens goes 3rd, 159.20, 4 seconds of penalties for the Tasmanian. And a good run for the junior from the Derwent Canoe Club. Baldoni, Canada, still leads, 144.56. But here comes Dza Wall. Dza Wall has raced internationally, and we haven't seen that much of her here in the last year or so, but still got the form, still pulls off the moves, and will have the confidence down here, no doubt, to drive in around gate 20. She takes the wide line and has to come back up and down. Yes, done well. And finishing strongly. Dza Wall, if she can hurry up just a little, she'll be in close contention and maybe attack that time of Aaliyah Balon. When we say hurry up, we're saying it with the best intention. 144.56 the time to beat. She will be outside it, but she'll move into 2nd place. 148.97 for Dza Wall, the Australian. So Canada, Australia, Japan, 1, 2, and 3. Okazaki in 3rd. Baldoni leading, and Dza Wall in between. Georgia O'Callaghan now, the next Australian on course. accomplished in the canoe as she is in the kayak, bouncing high, the bow of the boat lifting up. And good line, good speed, 16 to 17. She's going to get through 17 cleanly, and a nice adaptation there into spinning. Spins the boat around on 17, forward on 18, switching to the left side, creating some width to drive through now and get 20 at the first go. She does it, and a good spin. So time and cleanly through 21. That's the best we've seen through that section. We're calling it Hell's Gate. And out of 22. And a good surf and away through to the finish. Unfortunately for George O'Callaghan, the red flag on 14, too costly, and 135.18 the raw, but 187.18 the total, and that's 8th position for Georgia O'Callaghan. Georgia O'Callaghan in 8th, so a late judgment for the Australian, drops her down. Otherwise, the fastest time we've seen so far. Michaela Corcoran, number 10 from Ireland. Her father, Mike Corcoran, raced through the 90s for Ireland, the tallest man on the circuit, and now a prosthetic engineer in Baltimore, USA. Here comes Corcoran, a nice line. That's a good line, 14 to 15. And good work on the exit, but just a little messy on 17 for Corcoran. 144.56 after 13, still holding on. So there's definitely room at the top of the scoreboard. Won't come easily if too many penalties are accrued for Corcoran, but 30, she's turning around the low 40s at this stage. She's still got the sprint to the finish to come. And she will be outside the time set by Aaliyah Balon. And we'll go into 4th position, 151.99 for Michaela Corcoran. Balon, Canada still leads. Zwalinska of Poland, bib number 6, so she's well seeded, but the judges not agreeing with her trajectory at gate 3, and she's carrying a 50-second penalty into the bottom section of the course. Silver medalist yesterday in the women's kayak, and out here with her compatriots Gregor Hedvig and Matusz Polacek, enjoying the warmer climes